going on, guys? Happy Monday to everybody. Hope everybody had a exciting weekend. What's up, John? What's going on, Chris? Hey, John, if you have a minute after the show tonight or tomorrow, whatever's easier for you, I wanted to talk to you for 2 or 3 minutes or longer, but at least 2 or 3 minutes. Wanted to pick your brain about something and get some feedback. So let me know how your schedule looks either tonight or tomorrow is fine too. I know it's late there as I'm drinking coffee. And John, don't freak out about the cryptocurrencies there. Told you, man, it's a long-term thing. You got to let that ride until whatever happens. A couple years. It's a retirement investment right there. So what time is it? It's almost 7 o'clock. Give you guys another couple of minutes to roll in here. Took me a little bit to get ready tonight. If you guys notice, a text message came through kind of late. Hey, Crystal. I decided to change the topic like 10, 15 minutes ago. I just received an email from somebody. It's not a client, just a viewer like you guys. And I wanted to, I thought like, man, it's so on point that I felt like I needed to talk about it before I forget about it. So anyway, hey, Kimberly. Tomorrow would be good. Yep, sounds good. Sounds good, John. Harvey, what's up, Harvey? Welcome, welcome. Give everybody a few minutes here while I make some annoying... Robbie just stole the words out of my mouth before I make some annoying slurping sounds. That's for you, Robbie. And Robbie, I know you're a night owl, so if you want to chat tonight about that other thing, you and I can chat a little bit about that. I got zero response and high fees, so I'm hoping we can let them show their hand before we drop a fortune on it. Me and Robbie might be getting sued, just to throw that out there. Businesses fucking suck. All right. So, man, I do make some crazy noises, huh? Now I'm all fucking self-conscious of the noises I make. After you drink coffee, you have to like lick your lips. That's like you want to savor that flavor. So as you guys see the topic, leaving your family behind can be very stressful. Can be quite stressful. So I received an email from a lady who has been watching the channel. What's up, McLovin? Who's been watching the channel for a while. And she sent me messages in the past, like emails and stuff, and letting me know her husband's been in prison now for 3 months, and he's got a couple years left. Got you, Rob. He's got a couple years left, and the email is very important for you guys that are getting ready to go to prison. Really pay attention to this, because most of us are leaving somebody behind, family. Chances are you're leaving a husband behind, a wife behind, a boyfriend, a girlfriend. You're leaving a significant other behind. So if you are leaving a significant other behind, this email is intended for you guys to pay attention to. So I'm going to go ahead and read it here, okay? This was sent to me literally about 30 minutes ago. And as soon as I saw it, I thought we have to make a video about this. So I'm going to just go ahead and do it tonight, or I'll forget about it. So here we go. Hey, Dan, hope you had a nice weekend. Brian has now been in prison for just over 3 months, and I'm not sure if I can handle 3 years of this. We've been married 17 years. We have 3 kids together, but this is really getting to me. I feel so alone right now. The worst part is when he calls or emails and I do not answer right away, he becomes so upset. It's to the point that I enjoy the days that he does not call or write. I feel so guilty for thinking this way. I want to be there for him, but I feel he does not appreciate us at all. He just thinks I can drop everything when he needs something. I've tried to talk to him, but he's so defensive, he even hangs up, leaving me in tears. I want to do what is right, but just not sure what that is. Sorry for venting all of this on you. I gave him your information in hopes that he will reach out to you. You talk so much about how prison helped you and your relationships. I feel it is the opposite for us. Any advice would be appreciated. Thank you, Sherry. So, there's an email from a wife, a prison wife, and I actually gave Sherry some resources for other prison wives. So, hey Johnny. So here's an email from a lady who has been in a marriage for a very long time, and all of the emails and corresponding that I've had with her, other than this, have always been, she loves her husband, she's supportive. Her husband's crime, if I remember correctly, was a high-end white-collar crime. He got a really decent plea. It was for wire fraud. It was for millions and millions of dollars. Wire fraud, a couple of other things. He ended up getting, sentenced to prison, going to a camp, and she's been very supportive, at least from the side of the story she gives me. I've never corresponded with Brian. She was trying to get Brian to reach out to me prior to going in, but for whatever reason, not everybody does. So now he's in prison, and this is where you guys got to really pay attention, because this happens. This really does happen. When you get into prison, and I can only talk for men because I was only in there with men, unfortunately. For men in prison, we tend to quantify issues and problems that we need to get taken care of, whether it be, you need something taken care of at the bank, or you need court documents sent in, or, putting money on your books. It doesn't matter what it is. We just really, really get intense with what we need done. So I've seen it happen where guys would call their wives or girlfriends and they don't answer right away, or they send them an email and they don't get an immediate response within a few hours or the same day, or sometimes not even the next day. They don't get these responses as fast as they would like. And they tend to get a little angry and bullyish to the point where they start trying to control people from inside into the outside, constantly yelling at them, putting them down, blaming them, accusing them of, whether it be cheating or knowing that they were calling but not answering the phone. And I can tell you, the way that some of these people talk to their loved ones, I can imagine somebody going, "Oh, it's Brian calling again. I don't have time for this right now. I don't have the patience for this. I don't have the energy for this," and literally letting it going to voicemail. So, if you're that type of a person that gets upset easily and wants things when you want it, you've got to really remember that your family on the outside, that's all you got, right? You've got your friends and your family. You've got to show appreciation to them for what they are doing. Most people are going to be still maintaining a job while you're in prison. They're going to be maintaining, if it's a wife with children, she's going to be taking care of, her children. She's going to be maintaining the house. She's probably tending to bills, dealing with all of the day-to-day stuff that you bailed on, right? You're bailing. You're bailing on your family. There's no nice way to put it. You are hauling ass and heading out of town for the next year to 4 years or 5 years or 10 years, and you're leaving your family to take care of everything. Even if you're leaving them with money, money doesn't fix the loneliness, the emptiness, the sadness that you're creating by heading off to prison. So if you can't control your anger when you're in prison and control how you're gonna communicate with them, they may not be there when you get out of prison. They may leave you. I see it happen all the time. And a lot of the times they don't want to tell you that, so they wait till you get closer to your release date to go, "Hey, I'm in a new relationship. I've been dating somebody. I've got another child. I've moved out." All kinds of bad news can come if you don't properly prepare. And it's funny, just lost my train of thought. What's his name? Juan Carlos, he's probably in here somewhere. Juan just texted me. Literally after I sent out the text to you guys, Juan texted me and said, sorry, it's time to update my phone here, guys. It's going forever. This is crazy. Leaving family behind. This is not what I want to hear right now. Leaving family behind. This sounds depressing, and I've been rotting in the topic for a few days. So a lot of you are clearly thinking about you're going to be leaving your family behind, your girlfriends, your parents, your children, your animals. For me, my animals were also a big deal. And, some of our minds might be in a little different spot. Like if it's your wife or your girlfriend, you might be thinking about faithfulness and what is she going to be doing while I'm in prison? How is she going to handle this? And some of you might just be truly just like, man, it's going to be so shitty to be away from my family for this long of a time. And it's true. It's not easy. That's the hardest thing about prison, is being away from your friends and family and your loved ones. So you have to be able to control your actions in prison. I'm not saying you're not going to have bad days where, it's okay to get upset that somebody doesn't return a phone or answer a phone call or return an email, but you have to be very careful how you go about it, bringing it up to their attention. Because if you're not, all you're going to do is you're going to start creating anxiety for them to where they're going to start having resentment, because here you are in prison with really no worries and they're dealing with all this stuff. And when they do talk to you, you're pissed off and talking, snapping at them and saying rude things and then expecting money and still expecting them to stop and drop everything to cater to your needs. And if you're not real careful, you may not have someone to come home to. So take this as a warning and really pay attention, because, I know, Sherry, I don't know if you're able to watch it live. I think you said you're not able to watch live because of the hours that I do this, and you got to get up early morning with the kids. So Sherry, my advice to you is, I know he gets mad and hangs up the phone on you, but it's important for you to be forthcoming and upfront and explain to him how this is making you feel. If he won't let you do it on the phone, you need to send an email, because if you don't, you can almost guarantee that the relationship's going to end, because it's going to create resentment on your part. And if resentment's not dealt with, it keeps transferring and transferring. And on that topic of relationships, and that's why this was a really good topic for today, is I told you guys I did a video with Zach. And if you haven't checked out his channel yet, shame on you. Win with Zach. Go to his YouTube channel. Check it out. Just put in Win with Zach. WINWITHZACK, Zach. Check out his channel, because I have a video with him that's going to be out between Thursday and Saturday, and it talks about relationships, and it talks a lot about resentment. And even though it's not necessarily focusing on prison, for those of you that are going to prison, you are going to be leaving a lot of people behind. I went and found all my letters today. I know I told you guys that I've written letters every single day that I was in prison and sent them home. Well, I went and dug through stuff today and went through Shelly's stuff, and I found the letters. And I've got them right over here, actually. I've got a stack of letters. And in those letters, it's reading a lot about where my frame of mind was when I was in prison. And I'm telling you guys, it's really hard not to get upset and say things, because you can sometimes get in such a bad mood in prison. I tend to only remember a lot of the good stuff about prison, because my brain is shut out a lot of the other stuff. But I was looking for a specific piece of information through those letters today. I didn't know which letter it was in, so I had to go through a lot of those letters, scanning through them. And there was a lot of hard days in there. I'm not going to lie. There was a lot of hard days in federal prison. So I want to make sure you guys are prepared. And we're going to start a new thing every week as well. In addition to the 3 days a week of the live videos, I'm also going to do at least one pre-recorded video a week of me reading these letters, because it was where my frame of mind was then, to give you guys kind of a series of where my mind went from when I got to prison to how it transitioned to when I was getting released to prison to obviously to where I am now. Pretty much the minute I got out of prison, within 30 days, I started making the YouTube videos. So you guys have pretty much seen me from the minute I got out. Now I can give you a glance of what it was like in prison on my day-to-day. And we'll read a letter every single day. Some weeks we might do a few letters a day, because it's going to take a long time. There's a year worth of letters in there. So I hope you guys are going to follow my channel for a while, because it's a lot of videos to watch for the letters. So take that for what it is. You guys are going to deal with your relationships the way that you want to deal with them. But I think it's real important for you, Sherry, if you're watching this video, for any of you that have loved ones in prison that aren't treated, if you're not being treated the way that you feel you should be, if you're being taken advantage of, or your thoughts and feelings, you don't feel like they're being considerate, you need to be vocal to your loved one in prison. You can't not be vocal just because they're in prison. You've got to tell them that this is making you feel a certain way, and you have to be assertive. You can't beat around the bush. You have to tell them point blank how it's, and eventually they're going to get it, because if you're not answering the phone and you're not returning emails, they're going to get it, and they're going to realize what they're doing. But if you're not bringing it to their attention, you're just allowing all this resentment to build without them even knowing there's a real problem, because they may not see it the way you see it. So open up your mouth and engage in some communication, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I got about that. So let's talk about a couple of other things. Johnny had his sentencing today, and Johnny had a cap of 60 months. So I'm sorry, not a cap, a minimum of 60 months. So he knew best case scenario, he was going to get 60 months because judge can't go underneath that. Johnny's also a client, so we did his letters and his narratives and his character reference letters, and he said the prosecutor actually referenced his letters. So now the next step for Johnny is getting him prepared to make sure he has got potential to get into RDAP. It's one of the benefits what we do with our clients is we make sure they can qualify. Johnny's got a spot on PSR. His pre-sentence report reads exactly the way it needs to read. So, for peace of mind, I know it's not going to do anything until you get into RDAP, Johnny, but your PSR, I really feel, we're going to have a strong shot at seeing you enter into the residential drug addiction program. And your sentence is definitely long enough, meaning that you're more than likely going to get the 12 months off as well, as long as everything goes as planned. And you've got time for some issues to even pop up and take care of still. So 60 months sucks, I know, but look at the benefit to it that you're not going to serve 60 months in a good case scenario. If everything goes the way we plan, Johnny, a 60-month sentence, you should be done in about 27 months. And that's going to be everything that we need to do working in your favor. You're preparing. You're doing what you need to do. We're setting you up with a plan once you get into prison, with classes and programs that you should be doing in order to enhance yourself through prison, get your mind right, and also when it comes time for that additional halfway house to show that you're going to be an awesome candidate for additional halfway house. So on a 60-month sentence, good time, RDAP, 12 months halfway house, put you out the door, cut your time in less than half. It doesn't get much better than that on a 60-month sentence anyway. Your attitude is great. I had another client went to a PSR interview today, and he's also a client, and his personal narrative is also, I mean, I'm not going to lie, we've got an amazing team, guys. And for those of you that have used us and you've hired us, you know the difference in these character reference letters and these personal narratives on what the final outcome is versus what you originally send us. So another client, he went and did his PSR today, and the probation officer said, absolutely, we want to put your personal narrative in your PSR. And that's awesome when that happens. Not every probation officer will allow that. Don't know why. But not every personal narrative should go in the PSR, depending on if your personal narrative is being done correctly. Personal narratives can be incorrect. They can be bad personal narratives. You can actually have personal narratives that cause more harm than good. And if more people understood that fact, oh my God, it would be such a different situation. I literally spoke to a lady, explained everything that we do, went over all of the benefits versus, and when I told her the cost, she's like, it's going to cost me $1,500 for some letters. It's like, okay, you clearly don't get it. And you can't make somebody get it that's like that. It's like immediately they want to find a reason not to do it because they don't want to part with their precious money. And I get it. $1,500 is not chump change. But How much is it going to cost if you don't do the right thing? What's it going to cost you if you don't hire a prison consultant? That's what I asked her, and she said, look, I really appreciate your videos. I just don't have any money right now. And I told her we have programs. You know, sometimes you just got to ask questions. Are there payment plans? Do you have any programs in place? Is there any way to get a reduced price? You know, you got to ask these questions because we've always got, I told you guys, we've got something for everybody. Some people just don't know how to ask for it because for whatever reasons they don't ask. So we'll see. But I know you guys have probably, you know, seen some, you got to wonder about your own personal narrative. You know, you got to be going, man, is it, and send it over to me. Email your personal narrative. We will give you some 100% free feedback and let you know. I mean, we've had clients send them over where they were spot on, didn't need anything. Some clients pay attention to these videos, or some viewers really pay attention to these videos, and they go back and they watch the videos that relate to them. I'm in the process of creating, on the channel, creating like, what do you call it? If you guys go to my main page on my YouTube page, man, I'm just full of blanks today. Can't think or process nothing. But I created, what do you call them again? Son of a gun. Going to it right now with my slow-ass internet. Playlists. So I've got some playlists on there now right underneath the main video. And, you know, we've got why should you hire me, info for the newbie, RDAP information, interviews. So I'm trying to organize the videos so you guys that, or especially if you're looking for like a specific type of an answer or information, I'm trying to help you narrow down your search so you don't just have to scroll through, you know, I don't know, 100 plus videos that I got out there now. So hopefully that will help you guys just a little bit. Chris, what prison are you requesting? And you guys got to really, once you get to prison, you got to stay clear of inmate.com. Okay? Stay clear of inmate.com. Inmate.com is, I'm sure it's a real website, but that's all of the other inmates giving you information, false information, telling you bullshit. There's rumors right now at Yazoo Low that Yazoo Low is closing RDAP. I have not found any verifiable information for that. They do not have a RDAP coordinator at the moment. The RDAP coordinator has left. So they are in the process of replacing the RDAP coordinator, which obviously causes a little bit of chaos and confusion when you're waiting to get into RDAP. So I've got a client that's trying to get into RDAP at Yazoo, and he was being told by other inmates and other people that they were closing it, but we have not been able to verify that. I've called Yazoo. His mother called Yazoo. There's no information in Yazoo, and they actually said they're going to be starting another class in the next 60 to 90 days, which tells me they're probably just waiting for a new RDAP coordinator to come. RDAP coordinators, I believe all of them have to have a psychology degree. So they have to be actual psychologists to be the coordinator of RDAP and understanding of how, obviously, how the core structure and course of RDAP works. So you can't just throw anybody into that position. So just keep that in mind, that you're going to get a lot of misinformation when you walk through the prison doors. Every inmate thinks they're an expert on something, and where do they get their information from? Because they're not using Google. They're getting it from hearsay, and we all like to be able to help somebody, right? So when we hear something, we want to go tell somebody as if it's we're giving them that fact. Just think about it when you see something on the news. You know, you just heard some, you know, like when Jared from Subway, and we found out he was a sex offender, you know, how many people went around going, oh, did you, it's like you felt good when you told somebody didn't already know that. You know, we all like that feeling. And I am looking for a speaker, guys. So if any, not like a music speaker, but I'm looking for a public speaker figure icon that would be interested in assisting what I do, but speaking to potential sex offenders or sex offenders that have not even been in trouble yet, but maybe are downloading child pornography on computers. I'm looking for somebody that is willing to help me create a channel that can talk about the compulsion, the addiction, the obvious struggles of getting in trouble and the consequences, and hoping that we can get an ongoing video appearance from this person, because there's so many people out there that do have that addiction, and maybe they haven't gotten in trouble yet and don't even realize how much trouble they can really get in, and how it can completely ruin their lives, and how they could ruin the lives of their own families. You got to think about it. Think about a sex offender that might have a family, and not a sex offender that's, touched kids or had that type of a crime, but downloading child pornography. And maybe they have kids, and now that person gets in trouble. They go to jail or whatever happens. And imagine the sex offenders' children that are left behind in school, the teasing that they get. I was reading stories about it today. These kids get completely taunted and messed with so bad because of what their parents or their father or their mother, because of what the choices that their mother or father made due to an addiction they have that wasn't treated or dealt with, and now the child has to suffer the repercussions and the consequence. This kid I was reading about is in middle school, and literally, like, kids won't hang out with him. Parents won't let their kids hang out with him. It's like he didn't do anything. He's not the sex offender. It's not like some inherently passed down genetic disease. The father, something was wrong with the father, had something in his head that was confused and didn't get diagnosed properly. And now that ripple effect is causing a shitstorm for this child's life. And it would be absolutely devastating to hear about, this child potentially committing suicide over something like that. And I'm sure it happens. I just didn't come across any stories. Oh, my shirt's coming undone. So I didn't hear, these are the kind of things that can happen, guys. So I think it's important. And I've gone online and read like confessions of a sex offender and things like this. And it's not really confessions. It's just a bunch of justification why they didn't do it and why they were wrongly accused. And I'm sure there are a lot of wrongly accused people, but there's a lot of people out there that actually made these mistakes and they are willing to own up to it. And what we do, we need to make a public face out of that. We need somebody to be able to carry that burden and be able to help people that are coming in. Because look, if somebody does have that issue, if somebody does have that sickness, somebody does have that addiction, and it's not treated, what do you think happens once they get released from prison? Next time it could be your son, or your daughter, my daughter, that they're downloading pictures of. So just to say, oh, they're horrible people, throw them in prison, lock away the key, and they should all rot in hell, this and that. Who are we to judge anybody? But at the very least, we can say, hey, I would like to see this person get help and be treated so they don't continue this type of behavior when it gets out. You got people that are addicted to porn, and you can't just tell them, hey, porn's bad. You got to stop looking at porn. Just because they know that it's bad doesn't mean that they're going to stop doing it. So anyway, if anybody's watching this video out there that is either has that crime, even if you haven't been charged with a crime, but you know what you're doing and you know it's wrong and you're looking for a way to like get your mind out of that and focus on something different, to realize, shoot me a call, text, everything we talk about, stay confidential. I'm not looking to out anybody. Whoever decides willing to do this, we can even black out your face and nobody knows who you really are, so you don't have to risk your life and have your family and friends know about it if you don't want to. But there's a lot of people out there that I think would benefit from that. So just throwing that out there. So anyway, what'd you guys do this weekend? Anything fun and exciting? What did I do? I played cards this weekend. That was about it. I do that every Saturday. I go play cards for a few hours. It's kind of like it's my release. Go play some cards, have fun with a few friends, laugh. And we really laughed this weekend. It was a lot of fun, guys. So I enjoy playing cards. Love playing cards. But other than that, I didn't really do much. Worked on some YouTube stuff, organized my videos. Another client, Tamara, her son Ian, is he's actually what I was talking about. He's over at Yazoo, and she watched the RDAP video that I did the other day. RDAP Fear, I think, or Fear RDAP, whatever the name of the video was. And she asked if there's possible to give her a transcript of the video to send into prison. And that's a great idea. So I've been talking to some companies that transcribe, and there's some free services out there too, but I want to make sure the spelling and when you transcribe, sometimes if you use the free services, it just kind of clumps it all together, but we need punctuation and all that stuff in there. So I'm going to get a service that's going to transcribe videos And if you guys are interested while you're in prison, or you've got friends or family in prison, and you have a video or you see a video that I've done that you think would be useful to send that as reading literature to a family member while they're in prison, let me know, and I can get you a price on what it would cost to train. It's based on how long the video is, but I can get you a price based on how long it would take to transcribe that video. Or if you know of a transcribing service, let me know. But yeah, I really wanted to talk about that tonight. I really wanted to talk about the importance of communicating with your family and what the consequence can be if you don't communicate properly with your family and you're not taking their feelings and their thoughts and trying. You got to remember what it is that they're going through on a day-to-day basis. So to me, it doesn't sound like rocket science, right? We all know we should be respectful and kind and loving to our family that's supporting us while we're in prison, even if they're not even if they're not financially supporting us. That emotional support, it's worth just as much as the money that they're going to be putting on your books. I can tell you that right now. There's nothing worse. I've seen guys in there that had real poor family relationships, and it really did carry over into their demeanor throughout the day in the unit, getting in trouble, acting out, lashing out at guards because you have all this pent-up frustration that you can't really express because the people you want to express it with aren't there. So once somebody pushes you into a corner a little bit, you're going to snap. That pimple's going to pop, and you might get egg all over your face if you're not careful. So knowing that going into prison and thinking about what you're going to say to somebody, even if you're upset at a friend or a family member, just remember where you are. You put yourself in prison. It's not their fault that we fucked up and went to prison. That's on us. We're leaving them behind. We've made victims out of them, and now we're going to call and abuse our victims verbally. How long do you really think that is going to last before they stop taking your calls and they start seeing somebody else? Let's just throw that out there. You beat somebody up long enough, they're going to go somewhere else. They will. They will, they will, they will. And if you don't think they will, you're crazy. Man, I was like Mr. Sweetheart in prison. Wait till you guys read my letters. You're probably going to gag yourself every letter. I was reading them today going, oh my God. I was, man, I mean, it's just insane. I got a lot of letters, guys. I'll show you the stack here. I got them all prepared. These are my letters that I wrote home every day. Well, almost every day. I started. What's the date on this? Jeez. November 25th was when I decided to start writing home. So it was about a month after I'd been there. I just started to start writing letters home. And my last letter was all the way to my last day in prison, October 25th, 2015. So we started the letters (2014). So yeah, so it's a lot of letters, guys. But there you go. So we're going to start reading these letters one by one. Let you guys kind of see where RDAP Dan's mind was while he was in prison. And almost all those letters are written to Shelley and, some other ones in there. But Johnny, Dan, my attorney, loved the letters. Awesome. I love hearing that. Yeah, Johnny, great thing is his attorney actually told him. I think it was Johnny. Was it your attorney that told you to find a prison consultant? I think it was Johnny. Told him to find a prison consultant to help him with making sure he can qualify for things like RDAP and making sure that his letters are proper and correct and designed properly to have an effect at sentencing. To me, that's huge to hear an attorney say that, because that's usually the opposite of what, Juan's attorney doesn't want, like, Juan doesn't even want his attorney to know that he's dealing with prison consultants. Some attorneys have such a bad thought process, or it takes a chop at their ego, whatever it is. It's very refreshing. And I cannot wait to have a conversation with Johnny's attorney, because that's a good attorney right there. That's him telling you, hey, my field of expertise starts from the time you find out you're in trouble, getting your plea, and that's kind of where I start fading out. There's not really a whole lot left for me to do, or a whole lot left that I really specialize or know how to do. So it's really, really good to hear that, because you can take an okay attorney, and with the good prison consultant, you can turn that okay attorney into a fucking rock star, because he's the one that's going to get all the credit for letters and things that go to the judge. The judge doesn't know you have a prison consultant, and we don't need the judge to know that. But it makes your attorney look like a rock star, because here he's got this client that's just doing everything he needs to do. He's got letters that are done on time. He's got community service under his belt. He's got a great attitude. He's not begging. He's doing what he needs to do with U.S. probation. So extremely rare to hear an attorney saying, yeah, go out and hire a prison consultant. So now that we know that he said that, we got to make sure that Johnny's attorney sends the rest of his clients my way, because one good result can turn into 50 good results. So reach out to him, Johnny. Tell him I'd like to have a conversation with him if you get a chance. And maybe one day he'd even be willing to come on here and talk to you guys about, things that you might want to ask attorneys. I've been trying to get an attorney to come on here for a while to do like a Q&A session, but they're also afraid of getting a question they don't know how to answer, which means there's probably a lot of questions they don't know how to answer that they're afraid to admit. So I don't know. And if any attorneys are out there watching, I'd love to have you on the show. Were the letters therapeutic? How many did you get sent to you? Can you ask that question one more time? Were the letters, which letters are you referring to, and how many did you get sent to you? Are you talking to me out of curiosity? Yeah, the judge doesn't need to know. It's probably better that the judge does not need to know. Judge, I hired a prison consultant. I hope you like the letters, because I don't know what they fucking say, but I heard they get results, so I thought I would send this to you, Your Honor. Yeah, that's not what the letters are going to say. Just so you guys know. What's up, Hunter? Got Hunter Moore chilling out in the house. Hey, Hunter Moore, you need to get me an interview with what's his Dr. Drew. We need to do a Hunter Moore update with Dr. Drew. Hunter Moore 2.0. Revived. Lurk away, homie. You're welcome to lurk. I got some funny letters in there, though, to Shelly. Hilarious. I can't wait to read some of them. My mind was spun so many times in there. That guy's a scumbag. Yeah, I watched that video. It was pretty brutal. I watched that interview. It was a pretty brutal interview. I'm sure he would not want to have you back on to explain that you've found new ways. Anyway, guys, I guess that's about it for this evening. I don't know, Harvey. That's a good question. Joe has put me on the shunning list. He has not responded to any of my emails. The phone number I had for him is now out of service, which tells me it probably wasn't it was maybe like I know he was using a phone for live call-ins that he didn't want to give out his real phone number. So I don't know. I would love to go on Joe's show. A lot to share, a lot to offer, but Joe ain't showing no love right now, so I'll just keep reaching out to him little, maybe one of these days. But anyway, it would be nice. I'm not going to lie. That would definitely get some nice exposure to federal prison time. So if anyone out there has Joe's ear at After Prison Show, put a little chip on his shoulder. All right, ladies and gentlemen, unless you guys got anything else that you want to talk about, we're going to roll out. Yeah, man, channel's growing, Hunter. Trying. Yeah, we're good. We're doing about 100 subscribers a month right now, which hey, I remember when I was only doing 5 or 6 subscribers a month, so gotta be thankful for what I got, and it's a very, very niche topic. You know, this isn't the type of channel that people are going to come to for entertainment. So, ones I wrote. The ones I wrote for the clients. Are you talking about the letters that I would write home every week, like these ones? Are you talking about these letters, or are you talking about the letters that we write for clients that are getting ready to go into prison for the judges and stuff? You got it, John. How many did you receive from outside? I received a lot of letters. These are letters that I wrote, and they were just basically where my mind was day to day when I was in prison. But we're going to make sure we talk about those. Hey, Dan, could you explain just a little more why it's not good for the judge to know that you have a prison consultant? How could that influence it? I'm not saying that it's necessarily bad, but I don't think there's a huge benefit to telling the judge, because you never know what the judge's opinion might be on prison consultants. They might think that maybe what your letters aren't authentic. They might think that they're not genuine. They might think that they're not from the heart. I'm not saying that this is necessarily true, because I don't know. I do believe that if judges knew exactly what prison consultants did, or what prison consultants, the problem is there's some fucked up prison consultants out there. Okay, so let's just kind of throw that out there. Not every prison consultant has good intentions. Some prison consultants don't do anything with letters. Like, literally tell you there's no point. I've literally had clients forward me emails, and you guys saw me exposing RDAP law consultants. RDAP law consultants is, I don't even know how, honestly, it seems like that company probably should have gotten under investigation by now, because they're flat out stealing people's money and telling them bullshit and lying to them about what they need to do, basically telling them to do all kinds of shady stuff to get into RDAP, telling them that character reference and personal narrative letters aren't important at all and that they make zero difference, which we know that's 100% not true at all, just from the recent clients that we've seen recently that you guys knew prior and that have talked about their experience since getting sentenced because they're still out on pretrial. You know, either all of these clients are lying and RDAP Dan's paying these guys money to say what a good job he did, or they're getting great results. Because you have to imagine the average letter that a judge reads is a letter where the client is begging for mercy, because you feel like your back is into the corner and you can't help yourself but to really only think about wanting to get a lesser sentence or possibly even wanting probation. So that comes out when you write your letters, usually on your own. That's where your mind frame goes, and it's very hard not to write that. And then your family's letters are usually even worse. They're all over the place. Some family members have such giant egos that the letter becomes more about them than it does the person they're writing about. It's like it's 3/4 about what a good person they've been in this person's life and how they feel like, oh, it's my fault, he's going to jail, I should have listened more. It's like, it's not about you, it's about them. So giving direction in writing a letter really does have a huge impact on the outcome of it, on putting strong direction. There are prison consultants out there that actually write your letters for you from scratch and just tell you to sign it and say, yeah, it's you. To me, that's not only unethical, it puts you in the possibility of what if you're asked questions about this letter that you wrote, and if you don't remember everything in that letter because it's not your authentic story, you could get kind of burned there and make the judge think that this is a bullshit letter. So we take your story and just reinvent it to make sure that it follows suit and it's going to get that impact that you're looking for. We advise you to, hey, maybe you don't want this in the letter. I had a client call me up and he told me his attorney said, hey, because there was a section in the guy's letter where it said, Your Honor, if you decide to give me a time of incarceration, I choose to use this time wisely, blah, 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 blah. And his attorney said, well, why don't you put in there, if you decide to give me a period of incarceration or probation, it's like I told the client, like if it was me, I would not put that in there. The only thing the judge is going to hear out of that is you're asking for probation, and that's a bad, to me, putting the word probation in your letter is a bad word. You're almost like telling the judge what to do. You don't want to give the judge advice. That's the last thing the judge wants to read from you, because nobody's got a bigger ego in that room than the fucking judge. You can surely bet your life on that. Same thing when you're going into prosecutors, when you're going in to talk to them, when you're going into proffer, you're going in to start your cooperation. I've had clients like, should I walk in there kind of like how should I dress? Dude, every time you go to court, whether you're going to see the prosecutors, anytime you're going to see somebody other than your attorney, dress to impress. Tie, sports jacket if you got it. I mean, dress. And don't go in there and act cocky like you got it all, especially when you're dealing with the prosecutors and all. They want to know that you fear them, basically. That's part of their upper hand. That's part of what they enjoy about their job, is they know that people are terrified of the feds. So if you go in there acting like, I got this, this is no big deal, then they're going to, oh, this guy's not scared of us, we got to dig a little harder. At the end of the day, we're all scared of them because they control everything. And you guys are all coming to learn that. Yeah, I mean, again, you tell a prison consultant, or you tell a judge that they hired a prison consultant who's in prison, the first thing that judge might think, just like what you're saying right now, is, great, this guy is a felon, he's an ex-con, now he's just found a new gig to go and take advantage and rip other people off. And unfortunately, that is partial truth in the industry. There's a lot of guys that becomes their MO. How much money can they get up front from one person, because they don't want to have to. I mean, think about it. Think about those of you that hired me. Imagine if I charged each one of you 10, 15 grand. I wouldn't have to do nothing for like the next 3 or 4 months. I could just be on Easy Street, put out a couple letters, and I could just stop doing videos. And then when I run low on money, I could go just put out a couple more videos, get somebody else to send me 10, 15 grand, and then kick back again. That's not helping people. We want to be able to help as many people as possible, and to consciously charge somebody $10,000, $15,000. And don't get me wrong, if you're like, hey, RDAP Dan, I'd like you to fly out here, spend a couple days with me and my family, really explain this, walk me through the process. I've got a client that wants me to come out and visit him. We're talking airfare, time away from my family, time away from doing what I do. So yeah, obviously then, that's going to be a little bit different of a price tag, but it's a whole different level of service. But most people don't need that. But for somebody out there that wants that, I'm not going to say no if that's really what they want, even though they're probably watching this video right now and maybe they'll change their mind. I've told them, you don't necessarily need me to come out there, but they said they'd feel better if I came out to California and sat with them and, face to face and really went through the routine with them. And okay, I mean, I could use a little getaway, so why not? Anyway, guys, we're getting off topic. We're going to go and wrap this bad boy up. It's almost 8 o'clock. I have not gone to the gym yet. So I'm going to go to the gym and get a little money time in. That's what we like to call it. RDAP Dan's going to go get his money tonight. That's what we call going to the gym. And these shirts that what do you guys think of the shirts? They're kind of, I wear them to the gym and I use them for the videos. You guys want to see the back of the shirt since we're talking about them? I don't know if you guys can see or not. So there you go. There's the RDAP Dan shirts. If you guys want one, let me know. We can make that happen too. So yeah, anyway, that's about it. That's all I got for tonight. I'm out of stuff to say, so we're gonna leave it with that. I'm RDAP Dan. Federal prison time. People helping people. Community is method. One day at a time, guys. You want to change what happens, you got to change your thinking. Changing your thinking is going to change the outcome of everything. I promise. It all starts up here. Everything's mental. Love you guys. Make sure you stay tuned for Wednesday's video. We'll try to do something fun. I'm going to try to get a video out tomorrow and read one of these letters. So look for these letters, guys. It's going to be a lot of fun stuff. Until Wednesday, you guys have an amazing night. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. I will see you guys soon. Come like me on all my Twitters and Instagrams and Facebooks and all that good stuff. All right, guys, have a great night. Peace.